This addiction to perfection that a lot of people have is keeping them small. You need to give yourself the permission to try.
As you can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out.
I have tens of thousands of followers on TikTok. At this time of recording, when I'm dropping videos on YouTube, some of them barely get 100 views. And if I'm very honest about what that feels like, sometimes I feel very sad, sometimes I feel very disappointed. But I also have this voice at the back of my mind that's like, let's go. And guess what? In this moment, I'm choosing to listen to this voice and to continue filming anyway. I know what trusting in that voice has done for me in the past. It has never disappointed me. But if I am being honest, that voice is going to lead you down a path where you got to do some things. You got to do something. And I hope by the end of this video, you're going to trust a little bit more in that voice, even though it's going to take you down a path or two. So in life, there are two different versions of you. There's one version of you that is very, very concerned with maintaining your image. And there's another version of you that is concerned with building your life. This one likes being pretty. This one doesn't mind getting their hands dirty. All of them come from the same source, which is you. But every single time you stay quiet in a meeting, in a conversation, in a phone call, because you don't want to sound uncertain, because you're too concerned with sounding perfect. You're paraphrasing, but do you know that saying where it says we are always feeding a lion and just make sure that you're feeding the right one? Whenever you're choosing a decision that is smaller than who you are, if you do not put your hand up, if you don't ask for help, you're literally feeding the monster or the lion that is contributing and supporting the less confident, less successful version of you. The version of you that has everything that you define as success genuinely doesn't care that you get your hands dirty. The only thing that is concerned about is that you arrive, that you get there, that you get to the place where you have all of these things that you desire, that he or she, but in this case, she, because I'm referring to me, that version of myself that has everything that I want. I mean, I have a lot of things that I want, but you know what I mean? Like the next level, she wants to exist in this reality and she just doesn't care whether I need to roll up my sleeves and record 16 videos. She doesn't care. She just wants to be born. So let me make this a little bit more concrete. Think about the last 3 years. How many times did you not send that email because you were too scared, or you rejected yourself first before they rejected you? How many times did you spend money on something that is visible instead of something that compounds? That number is your aura tax. The amount that you paid to manage perception instead of actually investing in your own development. But a lot of people never calculate it, because when you calculate it, you are admitting how pricey maintaining an image actually is. I understand the concept of faking it till you make it. I understand the value of putting yourself in environments that are not naturally like where you come from, putting yourself in like more wealthier environments, more etc environments, so that you are exposed. But faking till you make it needs to have boundaries. You can't fake it until you make it into reckless spending. Some of that money and some of that time and some of that energy has to be invested into your future. There are a lot of people who are getting their hands dirty, who are posting content that is not perfect yet, who are getting opportunities and they're putting real energy into actually making it instead of faking it. What you need to understand is that compound interest is a real thing and it's happening whether we like it or not. And what you want is that compound energy that you put into something to be compounding in the right direction. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe. Thank you. The truth is, nobody is watching you as closely as you think. And this is a documented phenomena. It's called the spotlight effect. Every person who's in a room is too consumed about their own performance to be concerned about what's happening with you. This audience that you have in your mind, that I have in my mind sometimes, that you are protecting your image for, actually does not exist. And once you realize that there is an imaginary audience that is in your head, and once you remove that audience, you will understand that every single time you show up every day to do something, you are performing for a version of yourself that doesn't exist yet. The version of yourself that's waiting for you to get your hands dirty and try and fail in public if necessary, and to do it long enough to build something. There's a version of this that is a big liability, and it is this thing of trying to look rich on social media. Every single coin that you spend on depicting a life that is not actually yours, it's a rand that is not spent into a worthwhile investment. investment, because the person who's watching your content is not a customer. You know, if it was a business and you were advertising a business, yes, you're investing into an asset. If you just go into a place that's a little bit more expensive than what you can afford just so that your followers can see it, that person is not your customer. That is not an investment. That person is just a mirror. It's just a person who likes what you like. And you are on stage performing for them. And sadly, the algorithm rewards it, which makes it more addictive, which makes it more expensive, because now you need to maintain this. What I always say in my videos is that we are blessed with so much energy. And this is assuming that you are the healthiest person on earth, right? And when you wake up, you have 100% of all your energy. And because energy is a finite resource, what a shame it would be to spend this thing that is as valuable as gold and rubies onto impressing people who don't even care about you. Wouldn't you rather use that energy to actualize the things that you really care about, to create the life that you really want to live? It's very interesting how the people who are doing the actual building are usually not the loudest in the room, because they're building, because they understand that that cognitive bandwidth, it's a battery and it's only so much, and you need to be very intentional with where that energy goes. And they're focusing that energy on building. And what I'm learning, for example, with TikTok and YouTube, TikTok, yes, it rewards performance, but YouTube is a place that rewards substance. And that's why I want to grow here so bad, because I love deep chats. I personally respect a person who documents the build instead of performing the life, because that person, I can relate to them a little bit better. That person, I believe, usually keeps the audience longer when we see the journey of trying, the journey of not looking perfect, being a little bit embarrassing, failing a little bit, but eventually succeeding at the end of the day. I'd rather rally behind that person than a person who's like performing the life. I like it when people record their journey of transformation, because it's also inspiring. When you watch their content, it's like, I'm motivated to keep going on my own journey. But the people who are just showing the result without showing the journey, yeah, it's inspirational, but not as inspirational as somebody who's like trying and doesn't mind failing along the way. And please subscribe. When you're trying to fit in, that's a sign of a scarcity mindset. That's a sign of a poverty mindset. It means that you have an external locus of control. You need the room's approval in order to feel safe. And a person who needs the room's approval cannot make decisions that build anything real, because real decisions are outlier decisions. They are risky decisions. They are different looking kind of decisions. It is you starting a business that nobody understands. It is having a standard that makes the people around you very uncomfortable. You should not be performing for a room, because some of these rooms you shouldn't be in. Abundance requires you to be the most misunderstood person in your current environment. You should be okay with causing discomfort. You should be okay with being a little different. Even if it's for a short period of time, as long as whatever you have to do gets you out of your current environment to get you to where you want to be, it's okay to be different, guys. Like, we're all leaving this planet in a box. Like, there's no point holding so tightly to the approval of other people. It genuinely is not worth it. That's why I want to mention the most powerful word that I believe exists in the vocabulary, and that is the power of saying no. There's a quote that Warren Buffett said. He said that the difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. And the reason most people cannot say it is because they're embarrassed to say it. They feel like if you say no without giving an explanation, it's arrogant. Just because somebody is asking a question doesn't mean they should get a yes from you. No. And when you are very uncomfortable with saying no, you're going to find yourself in very tricky situations. Avoidable situations at that. Situations that don't align with your soul, because in your gut, you know, I should have said no to this. And now here you are in a weird ass place. No requires believing the value of your time and your energy. And you believe that your time and your energy is worth protecting without justification. And it's just sad that a lot of people don't believe in that. They'd rather belong than listen to their own personal judgment and intuition. They say yes to the things that drain them. They say yes to meetings that produce nothing. They say yes to favors that just wastes their days. And then they wonder why they don't have time or the energy or the creativity to build. This is you saying, I am somebody whose energy is worth protecting. And you don't have to explain why. Here's a challenge for this week, okay? Get out of your comfort zone. Do 3 things that are definitely going to get you rejected. For example, ask for a discount, go to a store and ask for a discount out loud. Or you can post that thing that you believe is imperfect, post it anyway. Other thing that you can do is say no, especially when you want to say no. If somebody asks you to do something, say no without having to explain yourself. Let your no be followed by a full stop and keep it pushing. That feeling of discomfort is something that you need to be very comfortable with. You need to break this addiction that you have with perfection. You need to gain a wonderful relationship with manufactured discomfort, because that discomfort is you building aura, is you building confidence. And the thing that really sucks about embarrassment being the price that you have to pay to get the things that you want is that a lot of people understand this concept, they get it, but then they still go home and they don't do anything about it. Standing is not the upgrade. Taking the embarrassing action is the upgrade. This whole concept without taking action means jack shit. Hopefully, after you watch this video, you're gonna do something right now. And I also want to talk about something that is not mentioned a lot. Wealthy people, sometimes they look very strange. Most of the time, they've stopped performing for the room that is around them. Wealthy people and old people. Because most of the time, in order to reach a high level of achievement, you have to be comfortable with taking up space. You have to be comfortable with starting before you're ready. You have to be comfortable with naming your price, tripling your price. You have to be comfortable with wearing whatever you want to wear, whether somebody notices or not. And this is not coming from arrogance. It's coming from having a settled relationship with your own embarrassment. Embarrassment is something that you have to meet, you have to shake hands with, you have to survive. And you discover when you have a very healthy relationship with embarrassment that one, life is very fun. It's a bit more lighthearted. You have a very experimental approach with life. And you realize that that is more valuable. Having a very fun relationship with life is more valuable than protecting this perfect image. And once you have that kind of perception, that is aura. That settledness that other people can feel, that is aura, that is confidence. It's not a personality type. It's just a residue of somebody who chose the build instead of maintaining the image, and they chose the build enough times that it's become automatic. Quiet luxury is not a aesthetic. Yes, it's been diluted into outward appearance aesthetic, but real quiet luxury is what happens when somebody stops needing the room in order to conform. So aura tax is very real, and you have been paying it. Every quiet moment, every missed opportunity, every single time you second guess yourself, you're self-sabotaging. Every single time you shoot yourself down before they shoot you down, that is self-sabotage. Okay, that version of you that's waiting for you to look ready, to look perfect before you take a step, that is expensive mistakes that you are making. Embarrassment is not the enemy, embarrassment is the price. And if you make friends with embarrassment, you're gonna have a lot of fun. Every upgrade has this price that you have to pay. Every single upgrade needs a period of embarrassment. But embarrassment is short lived, because if you stay in that state long enough, it's going to build unshakable confidence. If you don't lean into that part of yourself, it's going to cost you. And if you want to understand how this pattern lives in your body and also shows up in your financial life, watch this next.